Scott, it's a frustrating night, which we weren't really expecting in the end here at Wesley Park. It's a 2-1 win for Havant Waterlooville, 1-0 up at half-time, and the game seemed to just completely change after the break. What happened out here?
I think they found energy which we didn't find. I'm kicking myself a lot. I said at half-time, I think that I possibly needed to change the shape and go to like a 4-4-1-1, just to cover areas and spaces out wide. I felt like if they were going to hurt us, it was going to be in wide areas, and they got too much of the ball too easily, I think, in wide areas. And I wish I'd have changed it. I take responsibility for it. It is what it is, and I just said that to the lads in there. But at the same time, that I'll take responsibility, and I made them aware of that. I don't think enough people turned up tonight in terms of playing to their strengths. We call it superpowers in terms of what's your superpower, what do you bring to the table, and yeah, I don't think many of them were on par tonight or above that. I think people were below par, and ultimately, when you have players that are playing below, more often than not, you come unstuck, and we've come up unstuck tonight against a team that looked like they were fighting for their lives. They ran harder than us, but the 2 goals that we conceded are very naive. 2 sort of counter-attacking goals where they ran forward, and yeah, we could have avoided those goals. We had our own chances. They obviously had a few as well when we had to go and attack the game, but I think it's hugely disappointing. People would have expected us to win because we are where we are in the league and they are where they are, but they're no mugs. They're a full-time outfit. They've got some brilliant players, and their record here recently has been good. And managers I've spoken to over the past few weeks said that it's not going to be an easy game, and I didn't need to be told that. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I think the gut feeling at the moment is it's horrible, because I knew that there was an opportunity tonight to close the gap. But I need to realise how far we've come. That's the hardest part. I felt like it's a missed opportunity, but yeah, we've done brilliant in this season, and I just reminded the lads that. But like you say, when the playoffs is in sight and you've got an opportunity and a chance, you do get your hopes up. It's human nature to feel that way.
So what do you think it is then? Because of course we've not had some particularly great results against those sides in kind of like the bottom 5, 6. I mean, you've had the 2 defeats, obviously to Dover. We drew away at Eastbourne right at the start of the season, albeit Welling as well, of course, and then tonight this defeat here. What is it about these kind of bottom half teams that we don't quite like?
Well, last season when we picked up results, I think we were doing the same to maybe teams higher up in the league. We obviously upset a few last season. I think it's just a mentality thing, and I wouldn't ever question the lads' mentality, but sometimes it's really hard to match the teams that are down the bottom in terms of like they are really fighting for their lives. And we knew that. I think we had 5 of the bottom 7 left to play. That was one of them tonight, and we know the other 4 will probably be just as hard as playing Yeovil on Saturday. So yeah, we're not sort of kidding ourselves that we've got an easy run in. We know that they're going to be tricky, they're going to be difficult, but yeah, people will say about the missed opportunities against your Dovers and your Havants and whatnot, but at the same time we've picked up points when people didn't expect us to, and that's football. You've got 11 players in front of you that stand in your way, subs that come onto the pitch that can impact it, and you've got to try and be better than them. And tonight we weren't, even though we probably had some good chances to maybe get back into the game with maybe 5 or 10 minutes to go. Yeah, just disappointed, Con.
Yeah, like you said, despite the fact we've obviously fallen to defeat, we did have a fair few chances, especially towards the end of that second half. I mean, the kind of scramble where there was a couple of shots redirected towards goal. Was it at that point you kind of felt this isn't our night? I
wouldn't have even celebrated a draw. A draw for us tonight was no good. I felt like we needed 3 points. I think that's what we need if we're going to be successful. And you can measure success in so many different ways, and that's the truth. I think if people want to measure it by us getting in the playoffs or not getting into the playoffs, then I think that's a bit unfair. I think from how far we've come and the teams that we're up against. But for us, I think we've had a really good season. I'm not saying it's over. There's going to be so many twists and turns, and we can only worry about ourselves. I think we've taken 14 points from 21. If you'd added the Bath game in there, it'd been 17 from 24. It's a hell of a run. Like we're still plugging away. We're still doing our bit. We've not really let up. We'd have lost 1 game in 8, I think it is. But everyone else seems to be ticking along nicely, but they've got to play each other. We've got some games, obviously, against your Yeovils, your Chelmsfords, your St Albans that are tricky and tough. And we need, obviously, other results to go our way. It's not in our hands, but we'll still keep fighting. We know until the mathematics say that we can't, then fair enough. But we just want to take each game as it comes, and we've got no better than a big one on Saturday against Yeovil.
A couple of other positives to say, I guess, is obviously we saw Trey Cook, Appiah get a goal contribution again for David O'Bonnell, who also scored again. Also the surprise appearance of Gary Abasogan this evening. What was the story behind that?
Yeah, so obviously delighted for Trey to get his assist, and he done well for it, big and strong, powerful down the sides, and David's obviously finished his run in the box, managed to get on the end of it, so that's great to see. And Gary didn't have a game for Bracknell last night, nothing on tonight, and I thought it was an opportunity to include him in the squad. And I thought he looked bright when he came on, so great to have Gary back for tonight. We'll see how the sort of land lies over the next few days and see where we're at. But yeah, listen, Gary looks a lot sharper and a lot fitter than what he probably was 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and he could be a really good option for us to have. But yeah, overall, it's just gutted at the moment. I felt like if we'd have played to our best tonight, we'd have been okay. I picked the most experienced back seven that I could, or back eight, including Dan, the back four and the midfield three. And I don't think it quite worked. I think we missed a little bit of energy and a little bit of tempo in there, maybe with like a Leon Chambers that obviously come on and gave us that. Christie not coming on as well. But I thought the experience would be invaluable tonight. We've gone to Dover, we've gone to Welling, and we've not really had an experienced team that has gone out for those matches. We made 5 changes for the Welling game because we had the FA Cup coming up, and there was something in my mind that just said, pick your most experienced team at the back and let the front three go and cause havoc. And they didn't really do that too much tonight, or as much as I thought they might have done.
Any concerns defensively too? Because it's been a while now since we have kind of recorded a clean sheet. Another 2 goals conceded this evening. I think tonight might be a case of more down to us trying to get ourselves back into the game. But any concerns at all about that kind of habit at the minute?
Not really. I think in terms of clean sheets, I think we're 4th or 5th in the league for the amount that we've got. I think we had a spell, didn't we, sort of September, October, November, where we were keeping clean sheets for fun. We were doing really well. I think we kept 7 or 8 clean sheets at home in maybe 10, 11 games, which was exceptional. We need to get back to that. But the one thing we've always got in the locker is a goal, and we just couldn't find the second one tonight when we were 1-0 up, which I felt like was going to be important. And then obviously the last thing I want to mention, or before you ask me any other questions about Saturday, is the fans, before I forget. It's a cold night down here. I know that they've travelled down in their numbers yet again, absolutely brilliant, clapped us off. Gutted for them because I know exactly what it's like. I'm a football fan myself, and no one would love to get into the playoffs more than I would. But they're probably going home with a tinge of disappointment, maybe a lot of disappointment tonight, thinking that it's going to be a mountain to climb. And it will be a mountain to climb, but like I said, we'll keep going.
You guessed my regular kind of closer then for these interviews. Another tough game at home, a chance to keep the home stretch keep going. I think it'll be up to 19 if we can. I would say it's against an impenetrable Yeovil side, but they've been a little bit slippy at the moment in terms of form. Is that something to kind of give you a little bit of a bounce potentially?
Yeah, hell of a word that, Con. Very good word. Yeah, listen, they're a fantastic side, another side that shouldn't be anywhere near this league. Obviously resources, the size of the club and everything like that. So it's a great test for us. That's what we're all about. We usually turn up against the big sides where no one expects us to get anything, and need to have a look at that, need to see what it is. But I expect the reaction from the boys. There's so much disappointment in there at the moment, and I can't wait for Saturday now. It's obviously only a couple of days away before we can get back into it. Hopefully we can get a good crowd down there, give us the support that we need, and why not? We're really confident when we play at home. They're going for a bit of a sticky patch, of course they are, but they'll be fancying themselves. So listen, let's bring it on, see what Saturday brings, and hopefully we can forget about today if we get a positive result. If someone said to us that we've gone to Braintree away, Havant away and Yeovil at home, and we could pick up 4 points out of that, it's probably not a bad return. With a tough side coming to us at home, a tough, tricky side away on Braintree on Saturday, and then coming here tonight with a team that are fighting for their lives. So we'll see what Saturday brings, and then move on from there.
Commiserations for tonight, Scott, and hopefully 3 more points on Saturday.
Cheers, Con. Thanks, mate.